Get out of my house. You don't deserve to live in a place like this." These were the cruel words a waitress shouted at her old parents. But what happened in the very next moment, no one could have ever imagined. Watch this story till the end, because when someone throws their parents out of their home, life has a way of teaching them a lesson they'll never forget. In a quiet town in Nebraska lived Emma, a hard-working waitress who had spent her entire life raising her only son, Ryan. She worked double shifts in a small diner, serving coffee and cleaning tables just to give her boy a better future. Years later, Ryan became a successful real estate agent. But as his career grew, so did his pride. He started feeling ashamed of his poor, working-class mother and his aging father, George. One morning, Ryan's parents arrived at his new luxury house after being evicted from their old apartment. Instead of welcoming them, Ryan shouted, "I told you not to come here. You'll embarrass me in front of my clients." His mother Emma pleaded, "Son, we have nowhere else to go." But Ryan turned cold. He threw their suitcases outside and slammed the door. His parents stood silently in the rain, the same rain under which Emma once carried Ryan home from the hospital as a baby. Days later, Ryan was attending a charity dinner hosted by a millionaire investor named Mr. Coleman. As Ryan proudly spoke about his independent success, Mr. Coleman paused, looking at him strangely. "You said your name is Ryan Carter, right? Are you Emma's son?" Ryan froze. You know my mother?" Mr. Coleman smiled sadly. "Yes, she was the waitress who once helped me when I was homeless. I was going to meet her tomorrow to give her a small gift, the deed to her new home." Ryan's face turned pale. He realized his mother had helped this very man years ago. The man who could now change both their lives. The night was cold, and rain poured endlessly over the empty streets. Ryan had just returned home from a grand charity gala, the same event where he had been praised for his success and kind heart. He stepped into his mansion, loosened his tie, and poured himself a glass of wine. The laughter from the gala still echoed in his head. But beneath that laughter, there was a voice. A trembling voice that kept haunting him. His mother's voice. "Son, we have nowhere else to go." He tried to shake it off, but guilt doesn't fade that easily. As thunder rolled across the sky, Ryan looked out the window and saw something. Two shadows standing near the gate. He blinked. No one was there now, just puddles and the sound of rain hitting the driveway. He sat down on the couch, but his heart began to pound. Then his phone buzzed. A message from Mr. Coleman, the millionaire investor he had met earlier that night. "Ryan, I just found out something. Call me. It's about your mother." Ryan froze. His heart skipped a beat. He dialed immediately. Mr. Coleman's voice trembled. "Your parents? They were found near the old diner, unconscious. I called an ambulance. You should come quickly." The glass fell from Ryan's hand and shattered across the marble floor. He didn't even grab his coat. He just ran. Rain lashed his face as he sped through the empty streets, every second echoing with regret. The same diner where his mother had worked her whole life was now surrounded by flashing ambulance lights. He ran toward the crowd, shouting, "Mom! Dad!" A paramedic stopped him, recognizing his face from the gala. "Are you their son?" Ryan could barely speak. "Yes, please." "Are they okay?" The paramedic's silence said more than words ever could. Ryan's legs weakened as he saw the stretcher, his father lying still, covered halfway with a white sheet. Beside him, his mother, frail, trembling, clutching something in her hand. He rushed to her side. "Mom!" "It's me, Ryan. Please, open your eyes." Her eyelids fluttered, and with a weak smile she whispered, "Ryan, you look so handsome. I saw you on TV. I'm proud of you." Tears streamed down his face. "No, Mom, please don't say that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean any of it." Her cold fingers touched his cheek. "You'll learn, my son. Love never needs a mansion. It only needs a heart." And with that, her hand fell limp. The world around him blurred. Sirens faded. Lights dimmed. All he could hear was the echo of his own voice, screaming in the rain. Ryan fell to his knees. He realized he had lost everything. Not his parents, not his house, but the only love that ever truly belonged to him. As dawn broke, he sat in front of the diner, the place that once fed hundreds, now empty and silent. In his mother's hand, he found a small locket. Inside was a picture of him as a baby, and on the back, engraved words, "For my son, no matter what, I'll always love you." Ryan broke down completely. The same man who threw his parents into the rain was now begging the heavens for one more chance to hold them. And in that moment, under the same storm that once witnessed his cruelty, he promised himself he would never let another soul feel unloved again. The next morning the rain had stopped, but the world around Ryan felt heavier than ever. The silence of the house echoed like punishment. Every corner reminded him of his parents. The warmth that once filled his life, now replaced by unbearable emptiness. He walked into his mother's old diner, where she had spent decades serving strangers with a smile. The chairs were still stacked. The smell of coffee still lingered in the air. On the counter, he found an old note, yellowed with time. It was in his mother's handwriting. "Kindness doesn't cost anything, but it pays in ways you'll never imagine." Ryan clutched the note to his heart and broke down again. But this time his tears weren't from guilt. They were from realization. He finally understood what success truly meant. It wasn't money, houses, or applause. It was love, humility, and the people who stand by you when you have nothing. A few months later, the diner reopened. Not as a business, but as a place of love. A new sign hung above the door. Emma's Table. Every weekend, Ryan served free meals to the elderly and homeless. He personally greeted every guest, always with the same words. "Welcome home." People often asked why he did it. Ryan would just smile and point to a framed photo of his parents on the wall, his mother wearing her diner apron, his father beside her. "Because this was their dream," he'd say softly, "to feed those who have no one, just like they once fed me." Years later, Emma's Table became a symbol of kindness across the town. And every evening as the sun set, Ryan would light a small candle beside his mother's picture and whisper, "I'm still learning, Mom, but this time I'm doing it right." He finally realized a heart full of love is worth more than a house full of pride. And sometimes losing everything is the only way to find yourself again. Urdu translation.